what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems with another MX Simulator tutorial video. And like last week while I was wrapping up the tutorial video on setups in MX Simulator with suspension and gearing, I emphasized that I was going to touch on advanced stability another day. Well, today is that day, and to get to your advanced stability, if you're a noob at the game, you just go to your bike setup, and then you see at the top left here you have these three options, and you'd want to go to advanced stability, and it opens up all of your advanced stability options. So this is my advanced. This is one that I slowly got to this point, I think a year and a half ago, and then I just don't touch it anymore. Once you get in advanced that you get used to, it's really a good idea not to touch it. So I'm going to take you guys through pretty much what everything means, and you can steal my setup, of course, and then tweak it how you like if you want, or tweak your own. All right, the first bit of this will be I'm going to use a advanced stability help guide from Nathan Zaworski, aka YZMXer608, who's contributed to this channel before. To start off, we have leveling up here, which I have set at 25, and Nate describes leveling as how much the bike wants to roll towards vertical. So basically when you're leaned over, how much the bike wants to come back towards vertical when it's leaned over, particularly in the air, because if you've ever had the gyro effect, you realize how the bike corrects itself in the air sometimes. You don't always have to bring it back yourself. Next up we have roll damping, which I have 52 here. Hey, 52! This is how quickly the bike leans over. So when you're coming into a corner or on the takeoff of a jump, this is basically the higher the damping, the more it'll slow your bike from rolling over, because again, like with the suspension and gearing, the damping causes it to reach a certain point and then start to like slow it down from going too far. So a lower number would be, better if you want to turn really quickly, or not turn, but lean really quickly. Higher number better if you want to have a little bit more straight up and down rider. Next up, roll limit angle, right here. The angle when extra roll damping kicks in. So like I said, it gets to a certain point and then it starts to slow you down. So once you get to, I think this goes, I guess up to 180. So I was at what, 72, something like that. And once you get to that level, and I guess that's about halfway leaned over, then the damping will kick in and start to slow you down from not, basically just going straight to the ground. Next up we have roll limit factor. That is how much extra roll damping you get past roll limit angle. So, that's kind of self-explanatory. It's just the extra, damping that you get past the angle that you set for your roll damping. Now we'll have steering. So rolling is basically like you come into a corner, you lean left or right. That's like the rolling feel of the bike. Steering is the actual input of the bars and how that affects your turning in this game. So first up we have steering damping. That is how quickly the bars turn. Again, with damping, the higher the number, the bars will turn less. Not more, less. The lower the damping, the bars will turn quicker and have a lot more free play in them. Steering strength has to do with the force that is used to turn the bars. Almost all the pros I know run this at 100, or at least a lot do, and they also run the max steering force at 1,000. It took me a while to get used to 100. If you're a beginner at the game, don't set it to 100 right away, and definitely don't get crazy with the max steering force either. Max steering force is the maximum force applied to the bars. So the higher the number, the more force that you can turn the bars with. Causes some really crazy like head shake and the bars to turn really quickly, especially on corner entry. So you got to be careful of that. It can cause you to slide out a lot too. So just keep that in mind. Next up we have direct steering. So there's 0 up to 1, and I had mine at 1. Nate says at 0 the steering control sets the target lean angle. At 1 the steering directly applies force to the handlebars. So that is direct steering. Slow damping speed. Speed in feet per second below which you get extra roll damping. So this is more on top of the roll damping, extra damping that you get per feet. And then slow damping factor, which is here, is the amount of extra roll damping you get below slow damping speeds. So those are two options again that apply to your roll damping limit angle and limit factor. And the last two from Nate for this video, landing damping factor, how much the roll damping is multiplied when you land. And then landing damping fall off is how long it takes the factor to taper back down to a value of 1 in seconds. So again, play with all these things as much as you want and figure out what's best for you. And the reason that Nate only got to landing damping factor is because I took this from Nate in 2012. JLV created a new snapshot in 2014, and you might have just had a black screen there for a second, but we're back. And these three new things are added at the bottom: full lock speed, restricted lock speed, and restricted lock angle. So I took this little guide from Havoc, Team Havoc Racing on the forums, OG like Nate, and he says this about each of them. He says full lock speed is the speed in feet or seconds where it will start limiting the steering lock. Restricted lock speed is the speed where the maximum steering lock limit will happen, and restricted lock angle is the angle it will limit you to when you've reached restricted lock speed. So all these three things are brand new. I don't know if I've ever edited with these because, like I said, I got this setup dialed in quite a while ago, and I've got the new snapshot and everything now, obviously, but I don't know if I played with any of these things. Maybe I have and I just don't know. But again, all this stuff is kind of your own personal preference. Find what fits for you, and having a solid advanced stability setup along with a solid suspension and gearing setup, well, I can't talk today, will get you dialed up playing MX Simulator really well. Obviously, people have a really tough time coming into the game the first time in MX Simulator, and a lot of it has to do with this right here, advanced stability setup, because some people start the game on arcade physics. I mean, you're kind of told to go to no on arcade physics right when you start. If you start the game on arcade physics, which is this, it says yes. Then basically you can only lean a certain angle and you won't be able to whip, and when you whip, you take off, you just like lean to the right. It looks really silly. So if you want to play the game for real, never have arcade physics on. And then another thing to take note of when you're dealing with advanced stability, as you move your stability settings up and down, so you can see right here, I'm right here, stability, if you move it up, if you move it down, if you move it at all, it changes everything in your advanced to a preset default template basically for that stability setting. So don't go moving this bar up and down a bunch, because your advanced stability is going to get all thrown off then. This stability has almost nothing to do with your advanced once you get it to a certain point. So be mindful of that. Hopefully this video helped you out and you can dial in your advanced and suspension and gearing. If you missed the suspension and gearing video, be sure to check that one out as well. And if you like this video, be sure to like it, comment on it, let us know what you think, and please subscribe to the channel. So thanks for watching, and bye-bye.